Good evening,
Ladies and gentlemen,
and welcome to
what are you doing there, Dylan?
Sorry, Rich.
What are you doing with all that stuff back there, dude? No, you're all right.
Sorry, but driving to the top production over down below, we've got a resident Bear fan who enjoyed Black Friday with the Bears
Awesome.
run going old school on the Eagles. To my left, we've got big, sexy, big Rich who I think right now might want Mike Tomlin shipped to Siberia.
No, so is that the shirt that for the race that you ran for Thanksgiving?
No. No, this shirt is actually for for a neighbor whose kid died from like cancer. I ran a virtual race a couple years ago.
Gotcha.
Well, we are also live on my alt today on Talking Sports on X. So maybe may not be on Ken the Bear fan while that's hacked. I don't have access to it, but I am on the alt, which is growing, by the way, Joe.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I just threw everything out there again on. You can get the Facebook page with my name or my Twitter account at BigRich8371. You got lots of different ways to catch it, all this stuff. But have you seen what came down just a little while ago?
I was eating dinner and watching about apocalypses, so probably not.
The college football playoff rankings have come out, and there are some changes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, Alabama and Notre Dame have swapped places with the tie 9th, Notre Dame 10th.
Yeah, but here's the interesting part, okay? Conference champion number 5 is 12. Conference champion number 11 is 4, and there's a reason why they did that. It is conceivable that the ACC could not be in the bracket because the ACC championship game is Virginia versus Duke. And if Duke wins the ACC championship with a 7-5 record, then what that's going to end up doing is it's going to allow North Texas and James Madison to get into the playoffs. Rav, how are you doing, man?
Tulane make the playoff.
Or Tulane. Tulane is playing for their championship as well. What's up, Rav? How are you, man? Can't hear you. We can't hear you, buddy. You're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Hey, don't worry, Rev. I just got my new mixer board, and I spent 3 hours trying to figure out why my mic wouldn't work. And this mixer board has a knob that says record plus or minus. I guess I have to have that one turned all the way up to full volume on record in order for my mic to work. So maybe your mixer board has the same issue. Yeah, 3 hours. I'm playing with this thing, thinking the drivers are bad, the mic is bad. Nope, it's a knob.
So keep talking, Rev.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah. Hey, there you go. There he is.
I was just saying how it's Steelers week, guys. One of my favorite weeks of the year, man. Yes, sir.
Dude, I hate that the NFL did. Okay, let me do this in 2 ways. A, I love that it's war week for a lot of us, because for me, it's war week with our big rivals, the Packers, right? You guys have your war week going with the Ravens and the Steelers. Great deal. But then what sucks is next week we all play some rando, and then we have a war week again. It's like, really? Do we have to play our biggest rival twice in 3 weeks? Really? You know, I want to take the schedule maker who did such a great job for Thanksgiving, line them up and do this. I mean, come on.
The same people that have made sure that the last month or the last 4 weeks of the season, the best of their ability, are division games so that they all matter. Especially week 18.
But here's the problem: if you're Ravoy and you're you're a Ravens fan and you're obviously a Steelers fan, what are the odds of either team sweeping the 2-game series when you play them twice in 3 weeks? Slim to none. Exactly, Dylan.
Right.
It's hard enough to do it when there's 4 or 5 weeks in between games, let alone twice in 3 weeks. And then, by the way, because so far close to the end of the season, it's totally not out of the realm of possibilities in some cases, like the Bears and Packers, where they might be our first round opponent in the playoffs. Now it's up 3 times since week 14, so from 14 to 19, right? Because the playoffs is week 19. Between 14 and 9, or between week 14 and 19, you play a team 3 times. Really? Hold on a second, schedule maker.
Well, the Steelers have one division game going into this week. We've played the Browns. That's it. We still got to play the Bengals. Or we played the Bengals. I'm sorry. We played the Bengals and the Browns. We played 2. That's
3.
it.
You split with the Bengals. You split with the Bengals.
That's right. We did hit the Bengals that second time.
But I mean, it's just like, like the Bears got, week 1 and week 2, we all pretty much had, for the most part, not across the board, we all had division. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just make it the first 3 weeks be division games, the final 3 weeks be division games?
They want them at the end, Ken.
Well, that's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
you hit the nail on
First
the head.
3,
You talk about how difficult it is to sweep. They want this. They want these games at the end to be meaningful. Even teams that are out of it, division games mean more.
First 3, last 3. You open the season against your division rivals. You close the season against your division rivals, and everything else.
And that's where you have a team. And that's where you get a team like the Saints or the Dolphins or the Giants or somebody like that can be a spoiler for somebody.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have 3 division games that if it's really close, you can really screw things up for the rest of the division by causing losses for certain teams. And that kind of, especially in a division like the NFC North, if JJ McCarthy has cranial rectal inversion and gets things going, he could pull out. They've got enough talent on that team. They could win if McCarthy played halfway.
I mean, I'm not mad that 3 of our last 5 are in the division. I'm mad that 2 of those 3 within 3-week period of time is against the same team in the division.
Right.
Like they're so bad. They're so bad. They're one of their all-time great players. Just wanted to go home, man, and sign with Pittsburgh. Like, just get me out of here, bro. That's how bad this quarterback.
I mean,
Thielen's going to be in their Ring of Honor.
Is that where
one of their greatest
Thielen
players?
Go to Pittsburgh? I didn't see that yet. Did Thielen actually end up?
Yes,
in Pittsburgh?
He signed
Adam
with Pittsburgh.
Thielen signed. We finally, week 14, have a number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
Finally.
Except he's like 200 years old.
Dude, it doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Yeah, he's effective.
He's better than every other receiver we have on that team except Metcalf.
He's the dude that you're going to throw down. He's the dude on 3rd down. You need 3 yards. You're going to throw the ball in his direction. He's going to catch it. And it doesn't matter. He knows he's going to get popped. He knows Roquan Smith is going to hit him in the next week, and he smiles when Roquan does. He's like, whatever. See you in a couple plays when I do it again. Thielen's just that kind of player. He's not a big splash. He's not going to get you the big 60-yard bomb, but he's going to make those big catches when you need them.
Rich, I have a question for you. Watching that game, the Bills ran down your throat, and I was thinking what everybody else is. Mike Tomlin's going to be the number 1 guy on CBS next year, whether he's Bill Cowell or Tony Romo. But I think it's time for the Steelers to pivot in the 21st century. Why do the Steelers have the number 1 most expensive defense? Hello, Steelers. Your defense was good in 1972. It's, what teams are winning the division right now? The Rams, great offensive mind coach. The Bears, great offensive mind coach. The Broncos, Sean Payton. The Jaguars this year with Liam Cohen. Offensive minded coaches win. Enough of these defensive minded coaches. Enough with having crappy O-lines, no running games, and no wide receivers. Oh, by the way, George Pickens is 15 times better than DK Metcalf.
No.
It was funny. You brought that up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only reason Pickens has the numbers he has is because CeeDee Lamb was out for 5 weeks. Okay, that's the first and number 1 thing.
Yep.
Because if CeeDee Lamb isn't out for 5 weeks, Pickens doesn't have about 40 of the catches that he has. The other part of it is the defense, the defensive backfield has been decimated by injuries. It's like every time they turn around, somebody's getting hurt, which doesn't help the cause at all because, of course, as we all know, if the pass game is open, then it allows the run game to work. If the run game is working, it opens up the pass game. The linebackers have not been playing as well as they need to, which is allowing the run game. And last week, it really got the other part of it, too, is time of possession. Did you happen to look at the time of possession of that game with Buffalo and Pittsburgh? I mean, 40-20.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Like
I don't care if you're the 2000 Ravens or the 85 Bears. If you're on the field for 40 minutes, you're going to give up points. You're going to play bad if you're on the field 40 minutes out of the game.
Well, I mean,
and it's
Rich,
a combination of things. That's the bad part. It's a combination. You can't blame it on one specific thing, which is what drives a lot of us nuts in Pittsburgh.
They're not good at any one thing.
It's this specific thing.
Right.
If Rodgers was healthy, it would make a difference. Sure, it would make a small difference, but it's not going to make that big of a difference. If we had a true number 2 receiver, it would make a difference. Yes, but it's not going to make all the difference. If we had a true number 1 running back, it would make a difference, but it ain't going to solve all the problems.
Well, and
there's a group of problems that have to be taken care of.
Well, to go to Dylan's point, Rich, though, it's like, okay, so all these offensive-minded coaches, great, woo, give it some points, yay! But look at the defensive coaches are do well too. Their defensive coaches do well, and like with Ben Johnson, why is he doing well? Because he's got a very good DC. Now the defense in Chicago has not been like lighting roofs on fire and set them ablaze. However, if you look at the top 4 players in this league for turnovers, 3 of them are Chicago Bears. If you look at the top team in the league for generating turnovers, it's the Chicago Bears. If you look at the offense, yeah, great. Since their bye week, number 1 in a lot of categories. 2 include rushing. So I always laugh when Bears fans, we need to establish the run better. Dude, we're number 1 in the league. How much better do you want it to be? But I mean, the reason when we got Ben Johnson and we were going through this turmoil last year, I was like, look, Ben Johnson was the belle of the ball. I'm like, cool, great, got it. But you know what? None of it means anything unless you get a good DC to come in with them. And they did that. With these defensive-minded head coaches, there's nothing wrong with getting a very good defensive-minded head coach. They just need to have a good OC that comes with them. The harder piece of that with defensive-minded head coaches is this. A defensive-minded head coach that gets a good OC tends to lose that OC within 2 to 3 years. Offensive-minded head coach who gets a good DC tends to keep that DC a bit longer for whatever reason. So for Mike Tomlin, look how many OCs he's had come and go out of that place, snagging jobs other places. It's hard. Now look at Rick Dable is available. Maybe if they need a new OC, he's it. I'd like Dable as an OC if he doesn't go back up to Buffalo. There are some other guys.
I do too, but he's got to have different personnel. He's got to have Will Howard at quarterback. He's got to have a different running back, and he's sure as hell got to have a number 2 receiver.
Chip Kelly, I think the guy is probably a really good OC. Raiders fans would tell you this morning. In fact, Joe said he didn't see any of Chip Kelly's hallmarks of a Chip Kelly offense in Vegas. He thinks that Chip Kelly was there just to run Pete Carroll's offense, right? And then take the blame when it didn't work, and that's what happened. I like to see Chip Kelly with a good defensive-minded head coach and have that defensive-minded head coach say, hey, Chip, run your offense. And like, would he be good in a town, let's say like New York, with that young offense weapons? Oh yeah, Jackson Dart would love him. So I mean, I get Dylan's thrust of his argument, and there is some validity to it. But you can be a good defensive-minded head coach and win a lot of games this league and championships if you've got a good OC.
Hey,
I thought
last time I looked, there's a guy that was a defensive-minded coach that had a really, really good offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy for a lot of years and won several Super Bowls with a defensive-minded coach in the last few years.
Wait a minute.
Nick Sirianni is not exactly an offensive guru, and he's winning Super Bowls. So I'm
Wait
with
a
you.
minute,
I
but
don't think that the defensive it's just like on the field, it's a team game. In the coaching realm, it's a team thing too. You got to have a good coaching trifecta there
Yep.
with OC, DC, and head coach. Have to have it.
I want to say this. I want to say this real quick, and I did see this today on McAfee the other day. I don't know if it was today or it was the other day. McAfee, they're asking Adam Schefter about Tomlin's future, right? Because it keeps coming up now with Tomlin's future. He said Tomlin is going to get to decide when he gets to leave. They're not going to do anything in Pittsburgh.
I agree.
That's unbelievable considering. Look, he hasn't won a playoff game now if he goes out again or doesn't win again, that's 9 seasons without a playoff win. That's a long time.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have won 3 playoff games since Mike Tomlin's last playoff win, and one of them was against the Steelers.
How many? Okay, but see, this is where me and Adam get into this debate on our show, which is tomorrow night at 8:00 Central here on the same network. Cheap plug. But what we end up talking about is, okay, you look at, and I'll use Dylan's example, Jacksonville. They've won 3 playoff games. They've also had a top 5 pick 3 times because they've been absolute shit those other years. Would you rather be a winning team and not necessarily go deep in the playoffs every year, or would you rather be a shit team for 4 or 5 years and have a team that goes to the NFC Championship game once and then you're trash for the next 5 years because you're not bringing in the right guys and you're dependent on the draft? This just in. The first pick in the draft or the top 5 in the draft doesn't guarantee you a stud.
No.
See Tennessee, see Jacksonville before this year, see several teams that just absolutely completely wet the bed year after year.
What is it? In the first round, you got about a 50-50 chance of hitting on a guy. I mean, the numbers aren't great. They get even worse as you go down, but it seems to be about 50-50. And as you get in the second, third, fourth, the percentages get even worse to hit. I mean, look at the Bears. Like, last playoff appearance, 2020. 18 was the last time we won the division. Last time we won a playoff game might be 06. I'm not sure I have to look at that.
Might have been
a while. But Mike Tomlin not winning. Look at. We already know that they're going to let him coach next year and let his contract expire, and they're not going to re-sign him. So what he said in the interview is correct. He's going to go till he wants to be done, which is next year. After 20 years of service, he's going to hang it up and retire. And next year will be the Swan Song farewell tour, and that'll be that because Pittsburgh's not going to fire him, but they're not going to rehire him either. His contract expires after next season. And you know what? Right now, when you look at who's available for head coaching gigs, well, it doesn't really exude confidence in the guy you're going to bring in. You're hoping that maybe when Tomlin goes to retire after next season, that a couple court cases are cleared up, and maybe you got a shot at a Gruden, or you got a shot at a Brian Flores, who one offensive, one defensive. So that should be interesting for Dylan if they're both available. But next year, you look like you have better options at head coach anyway. So if you're going to get rid of Tomlin, who are you going to replace him with? And are you going to do to someone in Pittsburgh what they did to someone in New England and have a guy for a year and say, "Oh, our guy's available now. You're fired."
But see, what I would rather see happen, and this is something that I think would definitely make other teams nervous, is I would be looking at, yes, if Tomlin does hang them up, or if they do, I think if the Steelers had a losing record this year, they would cut ties. But that's not going to happen. And, but at the same time, you got to cut the OC loose. And you probably got to cut Terrell Austin loose too. Terrell Austin and Arthur Smith are the biggest part of the problem. If you had, and I'm just going to use this as an example, if you had Cliff Kingsbury as the OC and Brian Flores as the DC, this team's won 10 games already.
Yeah, he doesn't hire guys like that. That's the problem. He doesn't hire guys like that. You're right. You're 1,000% right. Kingsbury, Flores, but he's never had really. Think about how long he's been there. How many guys you would think be under the Mike Tomlin coaching tree at this point and been head coaches. How many do we have?
There's other guys that didn't have coaching trees either, that were successful coaches that didn't have a Dick Vermeil did not have a coaching tree.
No, but he did have a good crying tree. He liked to cry. He was a beautiful man.
You know, I mean, for every Andy Reid, there's a Dick Vermeil. For every Tom Landry, there's a Mike Tomlin. For every Don Shula,
you could argue the success of the Belichick coaches. You could argue the success you could argue the success of John Harbaugh and guys. But guys, you cannot say guys aren't getting opportunities. We haven't even really seen. I'm trying to even think of one now. Who is Tomlin has shepherded into a head coaching and had any success? I can't think of one. I mean, he's been there long. He's the dean right now. He's been there. He's the Don Shula. He's
maybe
been
Bruce
on his team longer than everybody else.
Maybe Bruce Arians.
Who he fired? I mean,
Todd Haley, Bruce Arians.
Haley's gotten the head coaching job and Bruce Arians. That I'm really. Flores was there, I think, and you could almost.
Flores was DC.
Well,
Flores was DC.
I don't think he was even the DC at the time. I think he was.
Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians was under.
He was linebackers coach.
All right, here we go. I got an answer for you. Thank you, Grok. Bruce Arians, who was the offensive coordinator under Tomlin, went on to win a Super Bowl as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Haley, who was an offensive coordinator under Tomlin, he was a Chiefs head coach before. Okay,
he's the trivia question answer. He's the guy that got fired before Andy Reid.
Bruce Arians, of course, was. Todd Haley was. And that's it. But Bruce Arians went and won a Super Bowl after leaving Tomlin. So, yeah, you're right. The tree isn't big, but look for having two guys that left him. And actually, it was funny because Todd Haley, after he was a coordinator, he was a head coach before he joined Tomlin. And then after Tomlin, he was just an offensive coordinator with other teams, but never became a head coach again. So he's only really made one a head coach. That's Bruce Arians, and the man won a Super Bowl.
Here's where it really comes down to brass tacks.
Interesting.
Since Roethlisberger retired,
right?
They have not had a legit quarterback. I don't give three damns what people say about Aaron Rodgers. 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. He is nowhere near the skill set, nowhere near the ability, nowhere near the possibility of playing at a winning Super Bowl winning level like he would have been 5 years ago. It's just not going to happen.
Green Bay is so smart.
Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, all these guys that they brought in, Tommy Maddox, and all that kind of crap. No.
Kenny Pickett didn't work out.
They've got their future guy. Unfortunately, he broke his hand the second week of the preseason, and we haven't seen him since.
But Rich, like what you're going through is the normal ebb and flow of the NFL, and shows why Green Bay was so smart when they picked Jordan Love with the saying we're going to have him sit for at least 1 to 2 years. Ended up going a year longer than they wanted, but look how that's worked out for them. They've had now 3 quarterbacks in a row that have been competitive. Most teams, I mean, okay, the Colts got lucky when they got luck and moved on from Peyton, right? That was kind of luck. They got back-to-back good quarterbacks in the draft. But since then, right, now they're on a retread guy who's doing well. This is what most teams go through. Look at Chicago after Jay Cutler. We went through, a ton of quarterbacks. And now we finally got it.
And I get it. Because the Steelers went through that after Bradshaw.
Yeah.
They had Bubby Brister and Cliff Stout and guys like that and Neil O'Donnell until they
Mark Malone. That was my favorite one. He was terrible.
Look at who was out there for them to grab, and they didn't. That's what pissed me off. If you watch the show at all on Wednesdays, that was what was pissing me off. When I'm seeing Jameis Winston go to the Giants,
right?
You're honestly going to tell me Jameis wouldn't be better than what Aaron Rodgers is right now? I would have
physically, yes. Mentally,
without the question.
I'd have took Flacco.
Jameis is or even Joe Flacco would be better than what they've had.
I definitely would have took Flacco. No questions asked.
Well, they should have kept
unless we forget, there's that guy that's in Seattle right now that was a free agent.
Darnold, yeah.
Well, they tried to get Darnold, and Darnold signed with Seattle.
They should have kept Justin, is what they should have done.
They should have kept Justin Fields, right?
Yeah. And now
drafted Will Howard like they did. New York.
Well, in this offseason,
think they should have drafted Jackson Dart, and we're seeing why I kept harping on that.
In this offseason, you're probably going to have, for better or worse, Mac Jones is probably going to get another starting opportunity based on what he's done. Certainly possible. Kyler Murray for sure is gone in Arizona. So those are two. I think that's all but certainty. Go ahead.
I don't think Mike Tomlin drafts a quarterback if next year's going to be his last year. He's going to wait for the next guy. Because you know what happens?
Will Howard can be the guy. I'm telling you this right now.
But I mean, that's what, maybe he is. But the point is, I don't think Mike Tomlin drafts another quarterback if he knows that, okay, they're not going to renew my contract or I'm just going to retire. Let the next guy pick a quarterback if this guy's not the future. I mean, let's be real. You get a new head coach. What do they all want? Their own quarterback. Ben Johnson. Why did he take the Chicago job? Now, it can work two ways. One, you take the job, then you're going to go get your quarterback. Or two, you're Ben Johnson. Say, I want the job because of the young quarterback they just drafted. Right? Those are about your two scenarios. So what you're telling me then, Rich, is that you're going to want to hire a head coach when Tomlin goes who says, yep, I want that to be my guy. Right? And not that I want to go get my guy. I want that to be my guy. So he needs to play next year to show that.
See, I brought it up. I don't know if it was here last week or with me and Adam a couple of weeks ago. I would have zero issue with Cliff Kingsbury being the new coach of the Steelers. Zero. No problem whatsoever. Because he knows how to open up the field. He knows how to get the talent out of his play. Because Kyler Murray under Kingsbury was not bad.
No.
Kyler Murray under everybody else that has been there has been an absolute trash heap. But and the funny part of it is, would I try and bring Kyler to Pittsburgh if Kingsbury was there? Yes. Whether he's a backup or a starter, would I bring Kyler in? You bet your bottom dollar. Because then you have Metcalf. Then you draft a receiver. Now you've got yourself something to work with on offense. And you can work with getting that defense built back together, because this just in, boys, that defense is getting old. That defense is getting old. The youngest guy of any real stroke on that defense is Alex Highsmith. Jack Sawyer is going to be really good, but Alex Highsmith is the only guy that's not 30 plus.
And I'm making a bold prediction right now. I don't think Cam Hayward or TJ Watt will be with the Steelers next year.
TJ will. Cam won't.
The money they just spent on him.
TJ
yeah. The dead cap makes it so there's no. You got to remember with some of these guys, like he just got a big contract, dude. The dead cap they would hit. That's probably he's a situation where if you cut him, you lose more money to cut him than you do to keep him. Right. So yeah, TJ Cam maybe, but hey, before I forget, please raise your hand if your team is the number one seed in your conference. Anyone else?
Yeah,
that's in 6 weeks. See me in 6 weeks.
Ken. That's until the Packers beat you by 20 this weekend.
Well, no, I think that Ken's previous point is going to be exactly right. They'll probably. I think Green Bay can beat them twice. They'll probably split. Chicago beats Cleveland, and that's pretty much the only 2 wins they got the rest of the way.
Hey, Joel,
which will be enough to get them in.
Hold on a second, Rich. You don't think we can beat Detroit the final week of the season after we just beat the way we just beat the Eagles? Are you kidding me? We use the Eagles like a cheap rag.
No. Here's the reason why.
Much on them. We ran so hard on them. They gave up more rushing yards to the Bears in the first quarter than they do per game the entire season.
Follow me on this, though, Ken. And by that time, you guys will already have the spot locked up in the playoffs. Maybe. Detroit won't. Detroit will have something to play for because it's probably going to be win and you're in for them in that game.
Oh, then we have some.
You guys are already going to be locked into the playoffs unless you guys just have an absolute abject blow up.
There is not. You're
going to lock in by week 18.
There is not a game on this schedule that the Bears cannot win. And the Bears won against the defending Super Bowl champs, doing what all good teams should do this time of year. They ran the ball. Why? Because we saw what the wind conditions do to quarterbacks in late November, December, January. It makes it hard to throw outdoors. Now, will this change over the next couple of years as more outdoor teams become indoor teams? Yes, it will. But you look at a team like the Bears who are playing outside at Soldier Field for a couple games, outside in Cleveland, outside in Green Bay, outside. All their games are outside for the remainder of the year. You need to run the ball. And the Bears have the number one rushing offense in football right now, have had it for the last 10 weeks or so. And you look at the teams that are playing on run defense. Green Bay's not that great on run defense. Neither is Detroit. Neither is the Browns. They have great pass rushers, some of these guys, but you can run on them. You can run against Micah Parsons. You can run on Garrett. You kind of negate them when you do. Now you get your short passing. And the Bears, unlike these other teams, have a plethora of weapons at their disposal with their tight ends and receivers and their running back. So, I mean, there is not a game on this schedule. And what I love is every week, I love this every week. Oh, the Bears are going to lose. Every week I get a Dylan response. You're going to lose by 20. Last week I had a Packers fan saying, oh, the Eagles are going to steamroll. You're going to lose by 20. It's going to be a blowout. Well, really? Who had the lead from first score of the game on? The Bears had the lead the entire game. It wasn't even close.
Ken, I'm only joking with you.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I'll admit, I picked the Eagles to win, but I picked them to win by 3. But the thing you got to look at too, Ken, the NFC North, and if you sit there and really look at it, the NFC North, top to bottom, is the strongest rushing division in football. When you look at the fact that you've got Gibbs and Montgomery in Detroit, you've got Jones and Mason in Minnesota, you've got Monangai and Swift, who is playing like he did in Philly a couple of years ago for the Bears, and then you've got Jacobs and Wilson to a degree, but Jacobs in Green Bay.
Yeah,
that division in it as a whole can run the ball better than any other division in the league. I don't think there's any questions in that. So the run defenses are facing these super strong run offenses. They can't help but get better, or they're going to get run over in these next 4 or 5 games.
And the Bears have the number 2 or 3 offense in the NFL right now. They've been held under 20 twice all year, and those games are 1-1. The one that we lost, of course, was to the Ravens, who surprised us all by being as healthy as they were when we saw them. I mean, the Bears, there's not a team I don't think the Bears can't beat right now. Now look,
you haven't mentioned the bigger stat, though. What is historically the record, the Packers against the Bears? And I know this is different, but you don't care. You don't want to.
The last meeting, with the last meeting in Lambeau Field, the Bears won. Last year we were 1-1 against each other. They won at our place early. We took the last game of the year from them, and so right now, and I don't care about the history. It's what they're doing now, because Lions fans are running around going, well, we haven't lost back-to-back games in 3 years. Well, guess what? They're probably going to lose to the one-star rating system this week, right? Because no St. Brown. Ragnow was coming out of retirement, failed the physical. Now he's not. They still got offensive line problems. They're playing a red-hot Cowboys team. So I don't care about historics.
I like Dallas.
Historics are great. No Terry and Arnold is going to hurt them bad Thursday night.
Historics are great when the game is over and you can say, well, it just goes to the history, blah, blah, blah. But coming into the game, nothing that they've done this year has anything to do with last year. Especially when we got a new head coach, new DC, new offense, new defense, a lot of changes. The historics kind of goes away. What's up, Dylan?
No, it does not go away in the sense of that's true the Bears. It's not true the other side. They're true. Those guys are used to beating Chicago.
Well, no, they're not, because last year they were 1-1 against Chicago. And they lost at home against Chicago.
I don't know about that. How many years passed? Go ahead.
Well, 2 things. One, what did I say before the season about the Lions?
A lot of people said that about the Lions, that they weren't going to be. Anyway, here's what pisses me off about the Lions.
No, I said the Lions wouldn't make the playoffs entirely.
And you might be right. And I thought that maybe 3 teams would come on north. But here's the thing about the Lions. And we've seen it on this very show. When we've done our top 5, there have been times where, like this year, the Lions have looked like the best team in football. And then you have what's going on right now. And you're like, what the fuck, guys? Mm-hmm. Like, You look like the best team in football for like 2 or 3 weeks. You guys, this is the Lions we've known for the last couple of years. They are rock solid. And then you come out against you just lay eggs. And you shoot yourself in the wee-wee, and then now you lost to Green Bay at home, got swept by Green Bay this year, and you're about to lose to the Cowboys, and injuries and everything else have piled up, and the next man up, we're going to gut it out thing isn't working for you this year like it did last year. Hutch was a ghost in the last game. Look, they're still a good football team, but yeah, they might miss the playoffs still, and you're 100% right. But you know what? Adam, though, who was sitting there saying that the Vikings would be the worst team in the division, nailed it.
And by the way, Charles, what the heck is going on with Lamar Jackson? Because on Thanksgiving, the Ravens look like a bunch of scared kitty cats. Like, I think the birds flew south for the winter.
No obligation.
Lamar has played as bad in the last 3 weeks as he has since his rookie season. I've never remember seeing a stretch of games where Lamar.
Let's not just blame Lamar, brother. That was your entire team. I guarantee you, Harbaugh had these guys doing ball protection drills for 5 days straight after that game because it wasn't just Lamar coughing the ball up. It was the Ravens in general. That was the worst played Ravens game I have seen since Harbaugh has been coached. That would be the highest turnover game in Ravens history with Harbaugh's coach.
The offensive line is terrible. I mean, I think it's getting exposed. I don't know. Their right guard, Daniel Falele, is a complete train wreck. Every time I open Twitter, Daniel Falele is woofing somebody, total turnstile, ran into his own guy on offense, caused it. Daniel Falele is – I can't believe that they've let this go on this long. And so I think that's part of the problem. But Lamar has been banged up and hasn't been practicing. I think that's part of it. When a guy doesn't practice, he really didn't practice the week of the Dolphins game. He's missed a practice every few weeks. He's been banged up, and he's out of rhythm. So hopefully he gets healthier where he can practice and actually play.
I was going to ask you about two things, Rav, and that's kind of leading into one of them. I think Lamar's still hurt. I think he came back too fast. But I also cannot figure out why. There's a guy behind him that wears 22. Might have heard of him. His name's Derrick Henry. Runs up hills and runs through brick walls and all this.
Has Butterfingers this year.
Don't care for as many times. Okay, I'll let him fumble once a game if he's going to get me 175 a game.
Yeah.
Give the man the ball. What did he carry it 12 times the other night? I mean, I've
said this for forever.
Give it off,
I've said it forever. Part of it is what I just said. The offensive line has been so bad. The left guard and right guard are just terrible. And I think part of it is, too, I've said this for years on the channel. John Harbaugh does not like bell cow. He hates having one guy carried away. What he'll always say in the presser, that's how the game went. Oh, well, we got to see how it goes. I mean, you got Derrick freaking Henry. No reason why he shouldn't be getting 20 carries a game. He should be, certainly in the first half, he should have at least 15. So I don't know what his thing, but he doesn't like bell cow. He does not like to give it to one guy. He does not like doing it. He's never had it.
His brother's the exact opposite.
The game against Cincy doesn't completely concern me with the Ravens. I'm like, look, they had a bad game. It was across the board. I mean, it was turnover central on every aspect of that offense, turning the ball over. They've just played a terrible game in terms of ball control or ball protection. Like I said, it has to be one of the worst, if not the worst, games ever coached, or like that under Harbaugh's coach. They don't turn the ball over like that. I'm sorry. And Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. It didn't matter if it was Flacco or Burrow. I think the outcome would have been about the same. They had a bad game, and you know what? They're still leading that division, right? You guys are still leading the division, aren't you? By like a half game or by tiebreak, whatever. I mean, the Steelers and the Ravens.
Steelers, thank you, sir.
Yeah, and 2 out of 3 coming up. It's like the Bears Packers. It's like this is what the NFL lives for. Unfortunately, for both these situations, I think the games are too close together. Like, give us at least 4 weeks. 2 games in 5 weeks maybe would have been better. Like this week and then week 18 would have been better, right? But I mean, it's going to be great coming down the stretch for both. But I think the Ravens just had uncharacteristically bad game in terms of protecting the football. I don't mind the Lamar turnovers. We know they're going to happen. He's going to throw an interception here and there. But all these fumbles and rips that they had, that's not the Ravens.
And by the way, I actually have one game that's worse. How about 2017? The Jags beat the Ravens 44-7 in London.
London games don't count.
I remember that. I remember the talk was, and I don't want to veer too off into this, but how upset they were. The Ravens players were kneeling for the national anthem and all that other stuff. That was during the game. Right? They were more upset about that because I was in the comments. It was like, of course they were upset because we lost. Oh, they were all talking about that stuff.
So which game? I mean, we have two games that our division leads are going to change hands, possibly. Right? You've got the NFC North and the AFC North both have massive division rivalry games. Both have massive first place implications this week.
No.
I mean, is this a good week for football? Because look, I think what I found amazing was how, for as much shit as we give the schedulers for primetime games every year, remember, they do these in April, May. They start generating the schedule, probably in March. And then April, May, they release it. And yeah, sometimes you think, oh, this will be a good matchup, ends up being shit. But dude, Thanksgiving, all three games were good. They were exciting games to watch. Even with the Ravens playing bad, it was a great game to watch. Black Friday, who would have thought the Bears and the Eagles would give you a game that was like that? This week, we got those two, our marquee games. I think the Bears-Packers is the Fox game of the week. Is the Ravens-Steelers the CBS game of the week?
Yeah, we got Nance and Romo calling the game.
But there's three because you're forgetting about the Colts and the Jags.
Yeah, and then you've got that game too. Yeah, so we're gonna
the
get
top of the AFC South.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna get Brady calling the Bears-Packers game, which will be great.
I thought that my favorite game to watch, and I didn't think it would be, was when I'm watching the Rams and the Panthers. I really got into that.
That was a good game too.
The Panthers we're going to keep Stafford on the sideline the whole game. They ran it first, second down.
And look at Dylan's
that game was the epitome of West Coast travels to East Coast for an early game and wets the bed. That was the epitome of that game because Stafford comes in and he's looking like an MVP, and he hit the first interception, hits the dude square in the forehead of the helmet, bounces off. You could tell Stafford was off the entire game. Although catch of the year candidate for Puka Nacua on that one-handed grab.
You had the Puka grab, you had the Brock Bowers touchdown, and he had the
Washington, and then Traylon
Burks.
Yeah, all three. Oh, beautiful.
So the Panthers literally ran the ball that was the epitome. I mean, the only time they really threw the ball, third down, or if it was wide open, like the McMillan catch and all that. That was it. Everything was
Dylan's team having a shot to take over that division. Let's say they win the game, because the Colts have been backsliding the last couple of weeks, right? Their offense has kind of disappeared a little bit. Let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game and take first place. You realize then, guys, in three divisions, you'll have brand new head coaches atop of each of their divisions, being Jacksonville, Chicago, and New England. And in two of those cases, first-time head coaches.
Hey, by the way.
Well, and the other thing, excuse me, Dylan, just a second, going off of what he said, you got to remember, too, if Houston beats Kansas City, they're only going to be one game behind whoever wins that Indy
and Kansas City
Jacksonville game.
Will be see ya. They'll be done.
I'm telling you, the biggest game of the weekend is at Arrowhead. Let me tell you this: I can attest, and Charles can attest to the Houston's the scariest defense we've faced all year. They will kick the crap out of you. Houston's not the defense.
The number one defense in football.
But and I think
you look at the numbers; they're the number one defense in football. It's Houston.
Yeah, they got a badass defense, no doubt.
And the eye test sports the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Denver and you can say it's close and all that, but that Houston defense, they don't give up anything. I mean, they are really good.
That's something I was just looking at. Okay, I don't know what you guys usually go by when you think about this, but I go by points allowed when I look at my defensive rankings. You're top of the league. Houston, the Rams, Seattle, Denver, New England, Green Bay. That's your top 5 defenses based on points per game.
I also go by turnovers. To me, is important. Not just that's why, like what Ken mentioned with the Bears and the turn. I mean, statistically, they're not great in a lot of areas, but they're doing the one thing, taking the ball away. So when you have teams at the top, and Houston is actually getting the ball as well, so that's what's so impressive.
Top 5 in takeaways. The Bears number 1, Pittsburgh number 2, Jacksonville 3, Rams 4, Houston 5.
What's the difference though between 1 and 2? It's a pretty big gap, isn't it? I think the Bears
4.
have that by. Yeah, it was only 4 now. Okay, that was a little bit bigger than that.
26 to 22.
That's a big thing though. Like the takeaway piece is big. And look, with Chicago's defense, expect it to be better as the weeks go on. Right now, we're still playing with linebackers number 4 and 5. Our top 4 linebackers are still out. We did get Jalen Johnson back, but we lost Tyreek Stevenson. But that's okay because the kid who's their backup leads the league in takeaways right now, or is tied for the league lead in takeaways. But that's not a bad backup to have. I think the Bears defense is going to get better as we get some people back, which we're already starting to see. Look at Ben Johnson said the Bears will play their best football in December and January. That's when we'll start to see our best football. I have no reason to doubt Ben Johnson because everything else he said has been coming to fruition. At the same time, when I look at the Texans, dude, I don't want to play them in the playoffs if I'm on the AFC side. That defense is hot right now. Unless you can run the ball, they're smoking quarterback, and that's a problem though. Like they did a good job against a good running team last week with Jonathan Taylor. They did a good job on him. So
if
they're going to be a problem. Kansas City's going to get smoked.
And Ken, if you look at the flip side, the giveaways, best in the league right now in giveaways faces you the Sunday. Green Bay only has 7.
We faced the best in the league last week and took 2.
I understand. So. Well, Green Bay has 7 takeaways. Detroit, Kansas City, and Philly have 8. Chicago and Tampa Bay have 9. Houston has 10. So Houston's taken it away 19 times and only given it away 10. That's a pretty damn solid combination. Yeah. Well, Chicago's 26 and 9. So
I always looked at
those two.
I'm sorry. I always looked at those old Marty Schottenheimer Kansas City Chiefs teams. They were always consistently good in that stat, plus minus. We take it away, and we don't give it away.
Is Kansas City out of the playoff hunt after this weekend? Are they losing to the Texans?
If they lose, they are. If they lose, they are.
I don't think they get in.
I don't think they're getting in anyway. But if they go to 6 and 7, they're done.
Plus, you have you got the Chargers coming up still. Don't they have one more game with Denver? I think too.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't. They don't stretch the finish.
I think the Lions are out.
Finish the year. They have the Chargers this week. Then they're at the Titans, Broncos at home, at the Raiders. If they
don't stretch the field at all.
Like I say, 10 and 7 is not going to get them anywhere. 10 and 7 won't get you in the playoffs in the AFC. It might get you in the NFC, but it won't get you in the AFC.
I don't think they get the 10 and 7. I think that's in the
I don't either. I think they lose to Denver, and I think they lose to Indy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Houston. I'm sorry. Houston. I think they lose to Houston and to Denver.
By the way, I've got a question for you guys. Top 5 power rankings. Let's see. Who am I going to go? Bear, you first.
I was first last week.
I got him.
Right. Well, I'm going to start, and I'm going to go because my team is the number 1 seed in the NFC. I'm going to make them number 1 because they get no love and respect from anyone outside of the NFC North when it comes to the media. So I'm not going to give them 1 through 5. I'm just going to stay at top 5. The Bears are in the top 5 this week. You just knocked off a team that's been at everyone's top 5 every week, and you did it convincingly. I'm going to go. Also, my top 5. You have to keep New England up there. They keep finding ways to win and keep winning. After that, I hate to say it, but Denver's going to be in it because they keep finding ways to win and they're winning. After that, it gets a little tougher. I want to get another NFC team in here. I'm going to have to go right now with Seattle over the Rams because I don't know. The Rams shit the bed at home. They're doing terrible. And then my last team I'm going to put in the top 5. It was nice to see Buffalo come back and play well, but I'm going to go with another NFC team. I'm going to put the Green Bay Packers in there because their defense is just saving games for them. So you're going to get 2 top 5 teams playing in Lambeau this weekend.
Chuck Stone.
I got the Eagles at 5. Even though there's chinks in the armor, but they're still not even playing well, and they're still winning most of the games. I got Seattle 4. I think Seattle's been terrific. I think they've been really under. You talk about the Bears. Nobody's talking about how good they've been. Seattle's been fantastic. I think all year long. I think out of respect, I got to put Denver 3. They're winning a lot of close games, but they're still really good, I think, as well. I don't know if the defense is going to hold up in the playoffs. But as of right now, I think the 2 teams in the Super Bowl and the number 2 Rams are fantastic. I think even though they spiked the loss, they're really good. Stafford, I don't think he's going to look like that. I think that was just a fluky loss in the rain last week. And New England's won. I'm buying New England. New England's good. I don't think that there's nothing I've seen with New England that makes me think that they're not the best team in the league right now.
That's what I think about that.
I'm not going to put them in order, but I have the Patriots. I have Seattle. Let's see who else. I have the Rams. I'm leaving the Broncos out because they're more fraudulent to me than the 11-0 Steelers. I have the Packers. I'm gonna throw the Bears in there just because.
Big man on campus.
Well, I've got one in here that nobody has mentioned yet, which kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
My number 5 is San Francisco.
I'll tell you what, Kyle Shanahan, I don't know how they're doing it this year with all those injuries.
Super glue and bubble gum and bit rich. That for me was like if I was to take one team from the NFC West, and it was between Seattle and San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm going San Francisco 5, the Rams 4. Much as I hate to admit it, Chicago 3, Denver 2, and New England 1. But it ain't going to take much for Denver to get past New England.
You know what? I think you're all wrong because I have New England 5. I know New England's great. I know the Patriots are 11-2, but the Patriots' schedule this year is a joke. Although, be honest with you, after I give the top 5 rankings, we're going to talk about whatever kick that was. And by the way, Younghoe Koo did not even attempt. I'm not even going to say did not even attempt to kick the ball. That was all based on the snap and the hold. Younghoe Koo
went down to the book as a sack.
Yes.
Give us the rest of the top 5 before we go down that rabbit hole.
Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams. And number 1 on the spunky power rankings. Sorry, Ken, I have to do this. The Jordan Love Green Bay Packers.
I'm sorry, but 2 of you have the number 1 seed in the NFC, not even in your top 5. What drugs are you taking?
I'm telling you, Ken.
You're the number 1 seed in your conference by week 13. you deserve to be in the top 5 of
well, Caleb Williams' completion percentage is lower than Josh's.
Who has the number 1 offense in the NFC since week 5? Who has the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL since week 5?
Do you
turnover in the league?
Do you believe
top 5 is the number 1 seed in the conference?
Do you believe that the Bears are better than the Rams?
No.
Yes.
No.
I think
do you believe they're better than the Seahawks?
No.
Yes.
Do you believe that they're better? You're going to say Green Bay, so I'm not going to say Green Bay.
Green Bay they'll split with because of the proximity of their games together, but they are a better team overall than what the Packers are overall, yes.
I've got a better question. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
Yes, because that's why Jacksonville has got a chance to be in first place this year.
The closest team in the NFC to me right now is the Rams to the Bears. Now, here comes the other part of this, too, because as it comes to nut cutting time, let's see what Ryan Leaf does. Because I got to see he's done well the first 13 weeks. I get it.
Did you just call?
Now is where you separate the men from the boys.
Did you just?
Now's when you really separate the men from the boys. Do what now? I've been calling him Ryan Leaf since the draft.
Yeah. You know what I like about Caleb too? Like you guys are gonna look at it and go, but his completion percentage. If you look at his incomplete passes, over half of them are throwaways. I mean, that's why Ben Johnson isn't saying, well, we need to work on his completion percentage because over half of his incomplete passes are throwaways.
I will admit he's worked on tremendously since start of the year is not holding the ball as long. I do give him credit for that. He's not holding on to the ball forever and getting murdered back there.
I could see watching him. He's listening to his head coach. Yep. That's for sure. I see maturation happening with him where he is listening to his head coach. Absolutely right. I just don't know if that defense is. I mean, they're getting turnovers, but that run defense, that's not going to get
it. I mean, granted, okay, you're gonna, and I know the Eagles' offense has been having issues, but they just held the Eagles' offense in check. They've held most. I mean, look they don't give up more than 20 points a game. That's why they score 21 points per game, and since week 3, they've lost 1 game. And one of those games was only one of the 2 times they didn't score 20 points. They don't allow teams to score. They give up a lot of yards. And if you look at their point differential, most of that was from week 2, which they just erased a good chunk of that this week. Week 2 just destroyed their point differential, right? This is a different team than week 2. I just love how team, especially commentators in the East Coast and your Fox Sports, ESPN types, and AFC fans give the Bears absolutely zero credit for being the number 1 seed in the NFC right now. And the same people said last week, oh, the Eagles are going to beat them. You don't have a chance. And they dominated that Eagles team.
The Bears haven't been there, Ken. You're not going to get that.
Can I throw something?
Go ahead.
Can I throw one thing out there, Ken? And as much as I normally don't like doing this, I have to do it with this one. Tell me something about these teams. Cowboys, Raiders, Commanders, Saints, Bengals, Giants, Vikings, Steelers, Eagles. What do they all have in common? What do all but 2 of them have in common?
Right, right. And when we played Washington, though, what was Washington's record? I mean, we created after the Bears beat them, they won on an epic slide, kind of like the Bears did last year after we lost to the Commanders. When we played the Raiders, they were still in that thing, and it was a good game. I mean, yes, you look back at it now and you say, oh well, yeah, you beat the Raiders. Okay, you're 1-1 against the Vikings. Well, week 1 was week 1, and now look at the Vikings, but there also are teams that have been, even the Giants have been in games. They took the Packers to overtime. Who do you figure is going to win? Bears didn't need overtime to beat the Packers. The Cowboys took actually tied the Packers. The Bears blew the Cowboys out just 2 weeks prior. So, I mean, I get the argument you're saying there, but you can only say who's on your schedule. And you just, the last 2 weeks, to take your argument to the next step, the last 2 games they've had are just playoff potential teams. They've won both games.
It's fair to be skeptical. They haven't been there before. I'm gonna say
You
it
have a
one
team
more
the
time.
Bears just beat in the top 5.
But
That's
they haven't
disrespect.
been there before. That's
Who
fair to be
cares?
skeptical. It matters.
Who cares they weren't there last year?
They haven't been there.
You've got a team that hasn't been there in 5 years in the top 5. Who cares what they were last year? It's what they are this year. Hey, look, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I laugh because the Bears, the NFC North in general, will always get disrespected and won't get respect. A couple of you guys have the Bears beneath teams that they have beat. Just come on. Like, at what point do you rank the Bears in the top 5 after they've won the Super Bowl? Oh, now they're a top 5 team. I mean, look, it's not just here in 06 when the Bears went to the Super Bowl and the power rankings came out the week of the Super Bowl. Guess what the Bears were ranked by Fox Sports that week? 8th. And they were going to the Super Bowl. They were ranked 8th. It's just one of those things. You live with it as a Bears fan. But I just think it's funny when people give the justification like, oh, yeah, the Eagles are in the top 5 because this, that, here. Well, what about the team that just beat them? Well, they're not that good. They just beat them convincingly. What do you mean they're not that good? Yeah, but look who they played. Well, the last 2 weeks they beat playoff teams.
Right, and that's the thing you got to look at is the body of work. The power rankings are a body of work. It's not just what they did last week. Otherwise, the Rams would have been nowhere near the top 5 because they lost. That kind of thing. It's a body of work of the entire season. It's not like, if the Bears would have played Buffalo and New England and Seattle and San Francisco and
the Bears and the Packers have the exact same schedule minus 2 teams.
Look at college football right now. Ohio State is 1, Indiana 2. Why? Why is Ohio State? They haven't played each other yet. But what's the other reason why Indiana isn't been 1 instead of 2? Because Ohio State
beat Texas.
Because Ohio State beat Texas and what they've done. Like,
if you look
Indiana
at
doesn't have a history that Ohio State has.
2-game difference in their schedule, right? The Bears got the Raiders, the Cowboys. Not the Cowboys. The Bears got the Raiders, and I think the Packers. Who the Packers get? The Chargers.
The Packers. Hold on, I'm pulling their schedule up right now.
But the difference is
they had Cleveland. They've had Detroit, Washington, Cleveland, Dallas, Cincinnati, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Philly,
so Arizona
the Giants,
was
Minnesota,
different.
and Detroit.
We didn't get Arizona. We're going to get San Francisco.
We
all got that. And then we got the Saints, and who they get from the NFC South?
Carolina.
They got Carolina, who beat them.
Carolina.
So okay, so I mean that's the only difference between the Bears and the Packers schedule. That's it. So even at that, it's like having the Packers in a top 5 over the team that's ahead of them and beating the only head-to-head they have in common right now. The Bears won and they tied. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't have the Packers ahead of them.
So I didn't have them either.
I
didn't have them either. Yeah, I didn't.
But I mean,
the thing that I'm just looking at. That's why I say it's really going to be interesting to see what Chicago does the last 4 weeks of the season because of who they have left to play. Because they do. I mean, outside of the Cleveland game, they've got the Packers twice. And then they've got
the hardest
San Francisco
game they have on their
Detroit.
schedule is San Francisco because it's in San Francisco, and that's always a tough trip. That West Coast trip to San Francisco for the Bears is always tough. That being said, I think the Bears can win that game too. I mean, I'm playing with house money. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. If the Bears split with the Packers and that's it, I'm happy. This was a highly successful season for year 1 Ben Johnson. If we win 10 games and miss the playoffs at this point, I'm like going, well, why did we crash out the last 5, right? But as long as we beat the Packers, highly successful season. We'll doubled our win total. Ben Johnson looks like he's going to be the coach. Caleb is going to be looks like he's going to be the quarterback. That being said, I don't see a single game on the schedule, 5 games up, that the Bears cannot win. They are all winnable games.
Winnable, yes. But, I agree. 10 games get you in the playoffs in the NFC. In the AFC, you're going to need 11, which is unless you win.
I actually think the other way. I mean, there's a chance the Cowboys could win out and miss the playoffs.
Yeah. Like I said, well, the Bears
because of
have
the
some
tie.
tie breaks. Look, they have the tie breaks on the Cowboys, so that helps them. They got some good tie breaks. Kind of like why Kansas City is so fucked, because even if they get the record, they don't have the tie breaks against the teams they need to have tie breaks on.
The NFC North and the NFC West have been outstanding. They've been beating. I mean, the whole division. I mean, even Minnesota. I mean, if they had a quarterback, they would have been. Yeah. I mean, you look at the NFC East. Dallas is giving you more. Philly's really good. I think the NFC is much stronger than
the Bears are the only team in the division that went undefeated against the NFC East.
Go ahead.
Hey, Josh. I know what you want to talk to me about. How McLaren are going to blow it this week in Abu Dhabi, and I'm like, I want to vomit thinking back to Sunday's race, but that's either near or there.
And then we got the kicker for the New York Giants who wanted to do this during his kick yesterday.
When the kick turns into a sack.
I didn't want to sidetrack us, guys, but I just think it's funny how, like, the NFC North or the Bears in my case get zero respect from a lot of people. Don't get the respect from people when they're the division. They're leading the NFC. They deserve to be in a top 5 list at this point in the season with what they've done since their bye. You don't lead the league in several categories, offensively and defensively, and get told you're like only the 7th or 8th best team, and teams that you're ahead of are better than you. Just saying.
I mean,
they haven't been there before, and I think that's a lot of the reason.
Well, what do you mean they haven't been there before, Rav? They won the Division 18. They were in the playoffs in 20. They were in the Super Bowl in 06. They've been there before.
2025.
So they haven't been in the playoffs.
Different quarterback.
Different
coach, different quarterback.
New England. Okay, so I think he's talking about New England. New England has had Mike Vrabel has actually been to an NFC championship, AFC championship game.
And I'm sorry,
and they have been they've been better even than the Bears, even in recent years. I mean, they were terrible last year, but they've been a better team overall than Chicago.
You're saying because a team 4 years ago or 3 years ago had been there, that's automatically why they would trump them when both coaches are new head coaches? Vrabel was there as a Titan. Guess what? Ben Johnson was at an NFC Championship game 2 years ago as the OC for the Lions. As we've all seen what's happened to the Lions since he left, we now know why their offense was as good as it was.
Power rankings are not standings. They're style points to a degree.
So it's what you have fourth quarter come from behind victories than anyone in the league this year. When it comes to crunch time, they get it done.
He's not accepting the fact that they haven't been there before.
I just think it would be really tough to not have the Bears at worst 4. Maybe 4, maybe 5.
I mean, I'll even take 5 at this point. 4 or 5 I'm fine with, but like, does it not even have them in the list? To me, is disrespectful for a team at week 13 who's a number 1 seed in a conference. Both number 1 seeds should be at least in the top 5 at this point of the game.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you can legitimately – I don't think there's any argument that New England and Denver would be ahead of them in the power ranking. And then it's a matter of, okay, you got Chicago, you got LA, you've got Seattle. Okay. You got San Francisco.
No.
Pitch till you win. Put them in whatever order. I can understand the point. I understand both points of it, though. If you got the 1 seed – it should be in the top 5.
And you very rarely lose to a team and then still outrank them in the power rankings.
So this goes to your point. If a team has a number 1 seed, so they automatically be this, and this, and this. And I say, no, I don't think that. Just because your record is, I'll use the Steelers a couple years ago, for example. They were like undefeated late in the year. I didn't have them. Okay. I understand that. I'm just saying. You don't
You're at week 13. The 2 top teams in the NFL are the number 1 seeds right now, or they should both be in the top 5 at week 13. If you're the number 1 seed in your conference, you are a top 5 team in this league at this point in the game.
Well, I
necessarily
understand where
agree
he's
with that.
coming from, though, because the Steelers were 11-0, and there were people not ranking them in the top 5.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong too. At that point, look, if you're week 12, if you're coming into week 12 and you're 11-0 and you're not in the top 5, someone's smoking crack at that point in time.
It may not be true though. That's the point. That you're still missing. It may not. Your record might be. There are teams. I'm not saying the Bears are one of them. I'm not even saying that right now. But there are teams with good records or better. I mean, the Niners are a great example. I mean, I don't believe they go anywhere in the playoffs as good as they've been in the regular season. No chance.
I don't
But
count them out,
you
man.
But if you want to do it with the way you're saying, they deserve more respect than what we gave them. None of us had the Niners. I mean, they're certainly.
Yeah, but look at the Bears have the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. They have the number 1 takeaway defense in the NFL. They have the number 2 or 3 complete offense in the NFL since their bye, since week 5, right? On the season, it doesn't affect numbers much. They're still top 5 in all of them. Well, they're number 1 in takeaways garbage. In rushing game, they're either now 1 or 2. In offense, they might slip back to 3 or 4 overall when you take the first 4 games. But since they're bye, they're number 1, and they're number 1 in a shitload of categories. They're just by even their statistics, the record, who they've beaten the last couple weeks, and the fact that they're number 1 seed after 13 weeks, they should be in everyone's top 5 list at this point, and so should New England because they've earned it too as a number 1 seed after 13 weeks with some of the statistical backings they have. You have no excuse not to put them in your top 5 over a team, especially that they just beat, or that's 2 or 3 games behind them or far further back in all the other ranked statistical areas. Like, because honestly, for the AFC, the Texans, to me, number 1 defense in the league. Their offense is suspect, but the record's getting there. If they win the next game or 2, they may push themselves into the top 5 too. Because there's part of what are you doing now? Who are you beating now? What are you doing now? Well, the Bears just beat 2 playoff teams to include the defending world champs. Look at what the Texans are doing right now. They just beat a team that has been everyone's top 5 for weeks, right? And the week before that, they beat the Bills pretty bad. Another team that had been everyone's top 5 for a better part of the season. They're beating really good football teams and have the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. They should be more so in the top 5 than maybe Denver at this point. But Denver, I get it. You give them the deference because they have the record to go with it. The Bears have the number 1 record in the NFC.
We'll find out the Bears San Francisco question in 4 weeks.
And the Bears really don't have impressive wins impressive always when you win, but they really don't have a good margin of victory in any of their wins.
Well, in this league, unless you're playing a really, really shitty team, that and even then, the shitty teams aren't the teams with only 2 or 3. Look at the teams that with 2 or 3 wins. Look at the margins of loss for them in a lot of their games. In a lot of their games, they're 1-score games. Look how many games the Giants lost in 1-score games. Last night wasn't a 1-score game, but like I said, they took Green Bay to overtime.
I don't know. My Jags kicked the crap out of the Titans, but Tennessee's might be the worst team in football.
But even the Titans make some games close.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of times it can be said it's more impressive winning close than it is blowing somebody out.
Yep.
No, I don't go.
Caleb Williams has a great quote on that. He's like, everyone likes to win by 30 because it's a lot of fun. But you know what's great about winning these close games where you have to dig it out in the 4th quarter? It lets you know that you can beat anybody. And I love that mindset of his this year, too. He's like, if we're down the 4th quarter by a score, doesn't matter. I can come back and beat you. And they've done it this year 5 times. And I agree with Rich. I think in some ways it's more impressive to come from behind in the 4th quarter and just gut a game out and take that close victory or to win a close game than it does when you win by 20 or 30 because it's a harder fought game. I mean, but Caleb's right. When you win by 20, it's a load of fun. But I kind of agree with Rich.
If you're the best team, this is how I know something's wrong with KC. If you're the best team in the league, I should be seeing margin of victory in some games, not in all games, But in a bunch of
Kansas City didn't get the margin of victory in most games at all last year. The Bears have only been the victory formation like 3 times this year in their wins, right? So most of their games were close. Kansas City, who went to the Super Bowl, mind you, right, wins the AFC on a shitload of one-score games.
Yeah, well, that was last year, though. But in the previous years, they had
Even
plenty
the
of
previous
games
year.
where they had, yeah, you could have close games. But I'm just saying, I should be seeing you beating the crap out of somebody. Like sometime, like all these. The only team I've seen historically where I remember it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like forever they
Well, like
win
the
these
85
close
Bears
games
beat the shit out of everyone
like
because
all
they
the
just
time.
killed people.
I mean,
the
but
85 Bears, the 86 Giants, those defenses literally killed quarterbacks and put them off on stretchers, right? So, I mean, I think what we're confusing, Rab, is modern era football versus the football we grew up in the 80s and 90s, where defenses literally killed quarterbacks. Now, with all the protections of the last decade, all the protections and all these rule changes, I don't think you see, because a lot of those blowouts were backups getting put in there because starters got hurt by defense. We see less of that now. I mean, unless they're blowing out ACLs, we're not seeing the backups going in because they're getting destroyed by offensive line or defensive linemen like they used to.
Well, you can't win with no quarterback anymore. That doesn't work. Okay, I mean, Minnesota is the classic case of that right now.
Yeah.
You can't. You got to have. He doesn't need to be a stud, but like no quarterback. I mean, the Ravens.
Yeah, you got to be serviceable.
Yeah, like they had Anthony Wright, Kyle Bowler, and still went to the playoffs. Like you can't do that now. That doesn't work anymore.
And guys, even though he's my boy, that hit last night, that was legit. It was a legit hit on Dart when he was going out of bounds and sent him and decleated him. It was
Look
clean.
at Caleb got hit like that.
That's a football hit.
Caleb got hit like that on Friday, and look, I think the difference is, and I agree with you. I think that when Caleb got hit, it was the right call not to make the call because technically he was still in bounds as he was going out. I think when defenders do that on quarterbacks, that's a cheap shot. And 2 years prior, if your name is Patrick Mahomes, you're getting a flag. I think because Patrick Mahomes got so many cheap flags like that, the NFL said, hey, look, if they're in bounds, even though they're running out of bounds, they're still legal to pop. I'm not mad at it, but it's like Mahomes, how many flags did Mahomes draw for that? And now what makes you mad is if you're a Giants fan or a Bears fan, like when you see Caleb get popped on Friday like that, going out of bounds, or you see what happened last night for Dart, you get pissed because you're like, well, Mahomes gets flags for that all the time, but they changed the rule. And I think it's an appropriate rule change. I think it is somewhat appropriate, but I also think when defensive players, the guy's obviously going out of bounds. He's not going to do anything but go out of bounds, and they take that cheap shot. This is a lot about the person that took the cheap shot.
And also, too, they don't. Leagues refs don't like admitting this. There's always superstar calls. Mahomes gets calls because he's Mahomes. Jordan gets calls because he's Jordan. Ohtani gets a strike zone because it's Ohtani. That's just how it works. So, I mean, as much as people don't like hearing that or saying that, Jackson Dart is not. And Jackson Dart, I agree. Clean hit, he was inbounds. He should have went out. I mean, he was very close to going out of bounds, but he was inbounds. When you're inbounds, you're that fair game.
But Caleb hit, it was obvious. He was like a half a step from being out. He got hit as his foot was getting ready to go out of bounds. I mean, he wasn't turning upfield. There was no way he was turning upfield. That was a dirty hit, but it was a legal dirty hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to hit him. He was going out of bounds. He took the cheap shot because he legally could. And I think that's where the NFL is going to relook that rule and say, okay, if it's obvious they're going out of bounds and you hit them, but now you're going to get these convoluted waters where you're going to start getting these Mahomes calls again. So it's one of those things like I don't like that Caleb took that hit. I don't like that Dart took that hit. However, I understand why they're legal and that if you made them not legal, that may actually create more problems than you actually solve. So in that case, like, dude, just slide. But you don't have noticed this year on the slide, they've gotten really lax on the hitting people when they slide too. Oh, well, as long as he was already in the air when the quarterback started to slide, it's okay.
Yeah. You can't change the laws of physics, Ken. If I'm flying this direction already, you can't move.
Most of these guys didn't launch themselves before they slide. They're still launching after the slide. And then when they don't get the call, they say, well, if he was in the in the process of okay. I mean,
it's
the
the same
NFL,
thing as landing. It's the same thing as landing on the quarterback. What are you supposed to do? Go in midair and turn?
I agree. No,
I mean,
I agree. I don't disagree with you. I think the problem they have is they've done this to kind of get rid of the Mahomes issue, and I understand it. I think some players are taking advantage of it in a negative context. It's actually going to force the league back into the Mahomes era of you breathe on the guy, you're getting a flag, which I think is bad for the game. But some of these guys, when look at they can veer off, they don't need to take the cheap hit, but now they do because they can. That's going to be bad for the overall when they revert these rules back to what they were 2 years ago. And Rich, I agree with you. You can't change physics, but some of these guys, look at the hit Caleb took against the Eagles. He didn't have to make that hit. He chose to make the hit because it was legal, and he didn't have to. He was going out of bounds. With last night's hit, same thing. He didn't have to make the hit, but he made it. And unfortunately, it's going to take one of these quarterbacks getting an injury that puts them out for a game or two, and the NFL is going to revert right back to what it was during Mahomes.
It's football. He didn't lead with his helmet. He didn't hit him in the head. He didn't hit him in the knees. It's legal. It's football. If otherwise, in the immortal words of a very wise man, put skirts on them and then put them back there.
Look, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is a couple of these hits that they're taking, like who hit Caleb on that it was
Thanksgiving.
No, on Friday.
Was it Brown that hit him?
He was going out of bounds. It was I can't remember who it is right now. But like he didn't have to hit him. He chose to hit him the way he did. We've seen a couple games where it was obvious the quarterback was giving himself up or going out of bounds, and the player, while legal, took the cheap shot. And what's going to happen is when one of these big money quarterbacks now gets injured and is out for 2 or 3 weeks because of it, we're going to go right back to what we were 2 years ago when you breathed on him. You got the penalty because the owners are going to get upset because he's $300 million investment.
Still happens.
They still need to know that the quarterback is a football player. He's not playing football back there.
I don't disagree with you. I just think a couple of these hits are, to be honest, are cheap, and while they're legal, the guys are taking them in the hopes of hurting the guy they're hitting.
They're supposed to. They're football players.
They're supposed to. Exactly.
You're not supposed to try to headhunt the guy out for injury. There are rules against that.
I want to ask the guys.
No. If you don't hit him in the head, you don't hit him in the knees, and you don't lead with your helmet, you're not trying to do. If you hit the guy and break his ribs, hey, that's his problem.
Hit Caleb.
He should have protected himself.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I'm just trying to give you a point of view that's where this is going to revert back to how it was. Some of these guys are making hits that, while legal, and I agree with everything you've said, Rich, and while legal, fine, it's going to be okay until one or two big name quarterbacks like Josh Allen gets out for the year on a cheap hit like that. While it's legal, it was a cheap hit, and watch how fast that rule's going to revert back. I'm just saying. So, take your cheap hits while you can, and they're legal, but be careful with it too, because we might find ourselves in a situation again where, if it looks like he's going out, you can't touch him, and then we're all going to be bitching about that because then quarterbacks are going to be taking advantage of it and turning back upfield. So I agree with you, Rich. I'm just saying these guys need to be careful in how they execute it.
The guy that many people consider the GOAT, not me, created his career off of a supposed cheap hit and a bad call. The tuck rule is still a fumble. Yep. And that hit Mo Lewis had on Drew Bledsoe, take it and call it whatever you want. You're the way of looking at it, my way of looking at it, whatever. You would classify that as a cheap hit. When he hit Bledsoe, broke his sternum, and Brady had to come in, and the rest is
look, they hit on McMahon that effectively ended his career as a starter. Now, that one's egregious. He let the ball go, and they 3 or 4 more steps, and then he got body slammed.
He blasted him in the head, too.
Look, left tackles get paid what they get paid now because of the Joe Theismann hit. I mean, so that's what.
I'm just saying, on these sideline hits like we've been seeing the last couple of weeks on some of these quarterbacks, while legal, and I agree with everything you guys have said, I am just saying that watch it because it's going to – the NFL, if a quarterback or two get hurt.
I got But I got one question real quick. I'm real quick. I'm dying to know what Rich and Dylan think about Lane Kiffin. I can't wait to hear.
I've got a show coming out tomorrow, and I'm going to save it for that. But I don't blame Lane Kiffin. I don't blame LSU. I don't blame Ole Miss. I blame the NCAA for not having a rule that coaches cannot leave during the season. After the season, when your season's done, do whatever you want. But during the season, coaches should not be allowed. This is not. And be honest with you, it's I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Lane Kiffin will win a national championship at LSU in the next 5 years. Mark my word. You can write. You can put it in pen.
I think that they should have a rule like the NFL where you cannot go poaching coaches until they're done with their season. I agree with Dylan on that. Once they're done, once they're out of the playoff, once their bowl game is over, fire away. Go after them all you want. Until and unless that happens, no. Because it hurts the team, it hurts the players, it hurts the fan base, it hurts the school. Ole Miss is looking at going into a playoffs where if Lane Kiffin is the head coach, they've got a shot to win the national championship.
Now, I will say this. Ole Miss is not being Ohio State. Ole Miss is not being Oregon.
But even though
they would have a shot at
the chance now with Lane Kiffin departing before the season's over to take a head coaching job. I mean, I agree that this should not happen until the games are done. When Ole Miss is eliminated and their season's done, then you may talk to them. But until that point in time, I think it's kind of like tampering. It's like talking to the team quarterback that you're going to take in the portal before the portal opens, and he's still playing. I mean, I agree with you now. And here's the other thing: you now rob those kids at Ole Miss from that shot. Because maybe you don't think they'll beat Ohio State, but you know what? I think what shot they had is now tremendously diminished because their head coach abandoned them at this point in the season and go take a job for the future where he thinks he can win a national champ. He just told you, all the guys that you bought into, when you said, I'm going to come to Ole Miss and play for you, Coach Kiffin, because I believe in you. You know, he just told all those kids you recruited, I have zero belief in you. Fuck off.
Hey, Josh.
Well, the other part of it, too, is when you look at it from the standpoint of, okay, LSU was doing what they needed to do. So LSU is at no fault for this because they were doing what they were allowed to do.
Right.
The fact that Kiffin, if he would have done what a lot of people say he should have done and said, wait, I'm not going to talk to you guys till the season's over. Middle of January hits, I guarantee you, like I'm sitting here, LSU would have had a new coach before Kiffin ever got the chance because they were going to put somebody in that spot. Well, so it was a matter of he got put in the position of, am I going to take this job or am I going to coach this team and lose it? Which he should have never been put in that situation to start with.
Why can't he do what, hey, I accept, I'm gonna take the job, but we can't announce it until my season's over.
I'm gonna tell you guys why, because you guys haven't said the reason why. We kind of went through this in Maryland with basketball. I think Josh might know Washington so much. The transfer portal. Michigan State had a game Saturday against Maryland, right? They fired the coach. They've already hired a new one. Why? They can't. The transfer portal right now, they've already had a receiver go into the portal. So this is why this is happening right now. This is why Kiffin can't wait. This is why they're moving the way they're moving. And so this is why these guys, if he waits to the end of the season, he hit it right on the head. Somebody else is going to be there.
Move the transfer portal
Yeah.
to be the same way. Like there's no transfer portal until the last game is done, and then the portal opens, because that's another part of the problem. Because what you've done now, it's unfair to those kids who play at the school he's leaving. It honestly is. He should be coaching them all the way through the playoffs to their bowl game, whatever, and then leave.
Here's what happened. Everybody's saying that. Here's what happened in Maryland. Kevin Willard did essentially the same thing. He took basically the Villanova job. I mean, he coached through the tournament, but he was already taking the job at Villanova during the season. You know where those kids went? 5 of them are playing on Villanova. They went with him. This is a new – I understand that, but this is why it's happening. I thought the funniest part of the Kiffin press conference is it wasn't for the money. That's a lie.
This is why I don't
That's
want
a flat out – he took – that was $14 million. That was more than he would have got with any NFL team. That's what happened.
People talk that the NFL is evil because they're professionals that just do it for the money. Since NIL and the portal and everything else, the college is even more dysfunctional than the NFL game. When it comes to money and loyalty and all that, these kids now, the way they move through the portal several times and they do it to chase the NIL dollars, and now this is the perfect example. How many of those kids that played for the school he just left are going to enter the portal and try to go to LSU next year? Like they're worse than the NFL.
He said
I don't watch.
He actually said, "I didn't do this for the money." Are you kidding me, bro?
Bullshit. Yeah,
that's a lie. Flat out. I mean, that's the only reason.
Well, you know why he did it? Because his daughter's boyfriend is a linebacker for LSU. That's why.
He was a linebacker at LSU. Now he's in the portal.
He's a senior.
Thank you, Dylan.
Josh. Hey, Josh.
Took the money.
What?
Hey, Josh. You've been quiet as a cat. We need to hear from you.
I don't know. They should move the transfer portal. I don't know. Anyway, the only reason I hopped on here was to make fun of Dylan's McClellan over there. How do you fumble a 104-point lead in the Drivers' Championship? That's crazy.
I don't know because Andrea Stella and the McLaren strategist forgot that. Oh wait, 2 pit stops, 25 laps. Let's see. We're not going to pit here. It's like, oh gosh, McLaren must have thought it was 98 Hungary when Ferrari caught everybody with their trousers around their boots.
Oh,
the McLaren strategist looked a lot like Ferrari's strategist.
Yeah, and Red Bull's strategist, she made everybody look like the giant kicker last night. But that's a story for another day.
Does Ohio State win Saturday, Josh?
Yeah, I have them winning by a lot.
I have Ohio State winning by 20.
I don't know. That's a 20? Lot for Indiana's pretty good.
Maybe more. Nobody's beating Ohio State this year. The only team that's beating Ohio State this year is Ohio State.
Well, I just want to say, Michigan put up 9 points to dedicate to their quarterback in Michigan. 9.
And by the way, Michigan's going to have a new coach next year when they've realized we shouldn't have fired Coach Moore and should have fired Kalen DeBoer.
Do you think Ryan Day? You think Ryan Day gets a job in the NFL?
Nope.
I mean, if he wins, that's back to back. Nobody's calling him.
No.
Oh, he's gonna get phone calls for sure. If he win, he's gonna get phone calls. I mean, the problem with the NFL, like last year, was not a good year if you're a college coach to come to the NFL because look at the names that were. You had some big coordinators, some former head coaches getting back in the mix, like Vrabel and stuff like that. If you look at the jobs right now, they're what? You've got the Tennessee job is open. You've got the New York Giants job is open. That's it right now, right?
Raiders again might be.
The Raiders, I don't know.
Stefanski gets fired.
Position. Miami, he's safe. He's not going anywhere probably. So, but the difference this year is Flores isn't going anywhere until his court case is done. Same with Gruden. So if you look at who's going to be out there for head coaches, this is not the bellwether year that you had last year in the NFL for prospects. I think college coaches get looked at more this year than last year. So yeah, he could get a job, in Tennessee or New York. I could see it.
By the way, guys, I'm heading out at Dylan S Sports One, Spunky Spectrum Sports. And by the way, go Lando this weekend, Josh. Go Steelers. Go Ravens. Go Bears. Go Jags. Go everybody. I hope the Steelers and Ravens play a 70-70 tie this weekend.
What?
We'll see you later, Dylan.
I'm going, Dylan.
All right, here's my thought.
All I can say.
No, go.
If Tomlin gets fired, I say McDaniel gets fired from Miami and they hire Tomlin.
It's if Tomlin doesn't just straight up retire.
You keep saying that. I don't see that, man. You keep saying he's going to retire. I don't.
Bill Cowher retired. No one's.
Oh,
I mean, look, a lot of people thought, like, why are you retiring? Why aren't you going to go coach somewhere else? I mean, 20 years of 19 or 20 years. Well, 19 years of being a head coach in this league, dude. That's a really long, good career. I mean, why not retire and enjoy your fam and then go make all that money, that television money, not to do all the work?
Yeah, but one thing I can tell you, and Dylan has lost his mind a little bit. I didn't get a chance to tell him this, but everybody keeps sleeping on one very, very important dark horse team in this whole college football setup. And all I can tell you is guns up, boys.
I don't do college.
Watch out for the Texas Tech. Watch out for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
You think they get in?
Watch out for those guys.
You think they should get
Definitely. They're in no matter what. Even
I don't know
if they lose to BYU in the Big 12 championship, they're still in.
I think they might get screwed by Notre Dame.
I put this.
I'm not saying they should be.
I'm
not saying they should.
They're not going to throw a one-loss Tech team in a Power 5 conference. They're not going to throw them out, or a two-loss Tech team. I'm sorry. When the two losses are to the Big 12 champions, no.
I did this right here just for Dylan and for Lions fans to remind them of what they don't have in their trophy cases.
Yeah, but see, I got 6 of them in my trophy case.
I got 9 if you count NFL championships, but we're not doing that.
We got 2 parades back here, brother.
Yeah.
We got 2 parades. Well, 3 if you count the Colts. But we got 2 parades in downtown Baltimore as well, brother. Not for a while though. It's been a while.
Hey, wouldn't it be ironic?
Baltimore.
Just throw this out there. This is the 40th anniversary. Right? Wouldn't it be ironic if this year in the Super Bowl we get a Bears-Pats rematch?
No. You could very well.
Ironic.
You could. I don't think it's going to be 46-10 or whatever.
No, nothing close to that. I mean, talk about an NFL marketer's wet dream, right?
That was the one Super Bowl I didn't want. I was so disappointed that year that New England actually beat Miami because I was so ready for a Miami.
And Miami was the only team that beaten the Bears in the regular season.
I know.
That would have been a much better Super Bowl than what we had probably. At least the talk coming into it. I remember coming into it, everyone's like, "Who the hell are these New England Patriot guys?" They're not like no one even knew anything about them. Like the Finns would have been much better because there would have been the whole revenge aspect of ruining a perfect season for the Bears, and I think it would have been a better Super Bowl to be, Marino. Oh yeah, it'd been a much better Super Bowl than what we got.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I still to this day think about, and especially considering how bad the game went, as well. That was also to the highest Monday night rated game for years. I think that held up like 20 years or something like that. It'd been the highest rated Monday night game at the time. It's funny, like it's Orioles as well. It's been 40 years now since we won a world championship. That's a long time. That's a lifetime, brother.
I was thinking about this the other day. I've been lucky. In my lifetime, I've seen my Blackhawks win 3 cups. The Cubs win a World Series. The Bears win a Super Bowl. The Bulls win 6 NBA championships. The Chicago Fire won their inaugural season. They won the MLS Cup. I've seen every team from Chicago. The White Sox won in 05. But I've seen every Chicago team win a world championship. I've seen, and of course, when I reach out all my teams, obviously a team that's on my wall there, Bayern, has won quite a bunch in my lifetime, more than any other professional sporting team probably out there. In terms of trophies, I've been lucky, but you think of fans who've lived their lives and they've never seen one of their teams or all their teams. If you're a Detroit fan, you have not. When was the last time the Tigers won a World Series?
84.
What was it?
84.
84. And then the Red Wings has been since the 90s. The Lions never. The Pistons the late 80s, right?
It was 1990, I think, was the last one for the Pistons.
Or 90, yeah, it was 90.
Yeah.
The Bulls win in 91. I mean, you go to some of these clowns, and they maybe have a championship for their team, but the Penguins lost when they won the Cup, at least in the 2000s, right?
We've won 4 since I've been around. We won 2 in the 90s and 2 in the 2000s.
Yep.
I've seen
the
2 World Series wins.
But Pittsburgh, when was the last time your baseball team has won a world championship?
79. I've seen 2 world championships in baseball. I've seen 6 Super Bowls, and I've seen 4 Stanley Cups.
The Penguins.
And my basketball team has one. In the
So it's interesting, though, when you think about it, because some fans aren't that lucky.
No, you're right.
Penguins and the Steelers are usually always near the top. I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
The Penguins won the 2009 Stanley Cup 2 days after I was born.
Yeah, because then the Blackhawks won the year after in 10. Yeah.
I mean, the Penguins, they've had 2 of the greatest players in back to back. That's how you do
Crosby
it. I mean,
they
replaced Lemieux with Crosby. So, like,
and now I'm looking at Blackhawks.
The funny part is
that might make another run like the 2010s Blackhawks team if they keep building the way they've been building. So I mean, I've been lucky as a Chicago sports fan, or a sports fan in general. But man, we have to, there are 40 years. There, we have to remember, like, most of us, Josh, are mid 40s, maybe in the 50s.
I didn't went past that mid 40, brother. I'm in the late 40, brother. I didn't.
You're the old fart.
I'm
the
48.
old fart in this bunch.
I just
turned
born, 48.
71.
Okay, you're up on me. I'm 72. So I mean, the 3 of the 4 of us here have lived long enough. The 40-year drought's like, well, at least we've probably seen it. But you got like these kids in their 20s and 30s, and they don't know their team ever winning a championship.
It's hard to win.
How many Cubs fans until 2016? How many Cub fans?
That's what made that World Series so emotional. Because like when we won the World Series, my dad, my grandfather never got to see the Cubs win a World Series.
I always read the story. There was this 100-year-old man watching the Cubs, and he died like the day after they won. Like he lived long enough to see the Cubs actually win the World Series.
I mean, it's
like
Josh? Lions fans have never even seen a
I gotta go. I got school in the morning.
What?
You can find me at JM F1 fan. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye, guys. Have fun talking.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Take it easy, man.
Do good in school. But I mean, so we're lucky. We're old enough. We've probably seen our teams have success. I mean, can you imagine being a Lions fan and never knowing what it's like to even go to a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or a Vikings fan that's like born in the 80s, not knowing what's ever even like to win an NFC Championship game, go to a Super Bowl.
I wonder how many fans, young like Josh, maybe he's an exception because of his father and all of us. But how many fans are there young like us that are like us nowadays? I don't know if there's as many of them.
I mean, look,
I went to games all my life. Like to go to an Orioles game in the 80s, it was $3.
Right, going to a Cubs game, you could I remember even the 90s going to early 2000s. I could day of game, I could get 3 tickets. I could get tickets anywhere in the ballpark relatively cheap. You look at the fans, these kids now are in their 20s, maybe early 30s, 20s. like they don't go to games. And if they do, it costs them a hell of a lot more per capita than what it cost us. But like, even with the Cubs not going to the World Series, I had the '84 Cubs. I had the boys of Zimmer, right? We had the '89 Cubs. I mean, the '03 Cubs were something too. But like, Bear fan Mike, one of the guys who comes on our show on Sundays every so often. The dude was born in '86. He saw the Bears at least go to a Super Bowl when he was 10 years old. But by the time he was born or cognizant of stuff, the Bulls were almost done winning championships. He missed he probably doesn't remember the White Sox winning. I mean, so he remembers the Blackhawks and the Cubs winning and the Bears going in '06 maybe, because he's been about 10 years old. He should remember. So
when they had Grossman there.
Yeah, when we had Sexy Rexy. But you look at some of these fan bases, these 20 and 30-year-old kids, they've never even seen their teams go to a championship game. They don't know what the sting is to lose a championship game or the exhilaration of winning it, because especially in the NFL. Yeah, there you go. I remember look at that. What's his name? The comedian. They had him for on Prime. He's like, am I buying into the Bears? He's like, look, in '85 we were so confident. By week 12 we had a song with a music video proclaiming how we were winning the Super Bowl. He's like, so if we win this week, I might go all in.
I remember in school they showed us the video, like the Super Bowl shuffle. That was a big deal. We watched the Super Bowl
in '85, that team was so confident. They shot a video mid-season proclaiming how they were winning the Super Bowl. I mean, the amount of testosterone on that team is just redonkulous. Can you imagine if a team did that now?
They were so far ahead of the NFC at the time. It was, I think like everybody thought it was a fait accompli, that they were just going to go in anyway. You're right. How would that be perceived nowadays?
Oh,
arrogant. Well, who do you guys think you are?
Blah, blah, blah. Look at we're the old heads now. We're the guys who remember these things. And these young kids have never seen a championship series.
I just wonder how many young people go to games like I did. Like I see the price of tickets in pro wrestling now. Like I don't know how many shows I went to. I mean, and since TKO took over, like the price of the tickets are just insane. I never went now.
They go now because look at concerts. Like for us, an expensive concert back in the day might have been the Rolling Stones. $60. Now these kids are paying $1,200 to go see Tay Tay. I mean, these kids are paying the ticket prices, whether it be Taylor Swift or a pro sporting event. They will pay. Us older guys are like, look at for what my wife and I would have paid to go to week 1 of the Bears this year. That we could have gotten 2 season tickets for the Pensacola Ice Flyers here, and watched hockey. I don't think a lot of young people go to the games and spend the money because it's more of it's a social place thing to do. I mean, they go to take their selfies. I was at the game. It post on X that they're at the game and on TikTok and do videos. For them, it's more about saying they were there. I think than when we went. We went because we wanted to watch games. For them, it's more of a social happening, I think, than it is about the game.
Baseball has kind of always been like that, even before social media. More
you go to the beer garden at Wrigley Field and a baseball.
Yeah, game. Because of the pace of the game. Baseball is more like that. I agree with you. Football is less engaged than it once was. I gotta agree with that. I do. I just wonder. For me, that was so important, actually going to the games. And Kenny just mentioned it in the comments, like kids are on phones. I got 3 daughters, man, and my middle daughter, you got to rip it out of her hand, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not letting that figure
I think the league that feels it more than even the NBA, because it's all where the stars show up, and it's more about being seen at an NBA game than actually going to an NBA game to watch an NBA game. It's about being seen at the game. I think football, you still get kids who are fans who want to go support their team, and hockey, you get there's a hardcore group of hockey fans still at all ages. But I think the NBA is more so you go to be seen at the game. But look, they're obviously buying tickets because teams are selling out, and a lot of young fans are going to games.
It also falls into the thing of when we were growing up, you didn't have every single game of every single team
Covered
on TV every night. we were, when I was watching the Pirates or the Rangers when I was growing up, we'd get maybe 30 games a season on TV, and that was it. You had Saturday afternoon baseball on NBC, Monday
Yeah,
night
there was no
baseball on
NFL season
ABC.
ticket, MLB extra innings, NHL center ice. None of that existed.
Right.
This is why
You
cable
had a
TV
couple of
exploded, because you got more
Yeah.
games on, because you only had, I remember in Baltimore, you had, I don't know the number exactly, but something like that, like 30, 40 games. And they were always road games. They never showed,
Yeah.
Channel 2 never
See,
showed the
for
home.
Because
me,
they wanted to sell out. They wanted to
for
sell
me, it
out the
was
home games,
different
so they
because
wouldn't
the
show
Cubs
them.
were always on WGN and far more than other teams were on TV. The Cubs, you could almost watch the
That's true.
entire season on WGN, but you still wanted to go to Wrigley. Even if it was going to be on WGN, you wanted to go to Wrigley because you go to Wrigley. It's a thing. You just go to
Well,
Wrigley and
Wrigley
crank out
also
players.
they also sold out every night. Every
Pretty much.
game was sold out.
Yeah.
Pirates and Rangers and Orioles weren't exactly doing that.
No.
They might sell out on a weekend, or they might sell out on a opening night, or if the
I mean, Kenny's
Yankees
not
or the
wrong.
Dodgers were in town. But
Like, to get my kid to go to an Ice Flyers game, he'll go if we buy the tickets, but sometimes it's begrudgingly. That's probably because he had to take a day off work. My kid's a little different. But he still enjoys going to games. He goes to college football games. Here we have a D2. He goes to a lot of their games. Of course, he's going to go to school there next. But he went to all their games this year on Saturdays. He's gone to, he's going to go to a hockey game with us here in December. He still likes to go to games, especially if mom and dad are paying. But I think my kid's a little more Gen X than most of his generation because of his work ethic and everything else he has. But these young kids, I think when they go now, it's more to be seen than it is to go because you're a fan of the team. And over time, some of them become fans of the team and then go to because of why we went. Like, I don't go because now I look at going to a Bears game where my wife and I to get tickets up in the nosebleeds is $900 for two of us to go to one game. When I can take $900 here and get season tickets to a developmental league hockey franchise, which is a lot of hockey games and a lot of fun versus one night, it goes to the cost fun ratio. I'm gonna have more fun going to 30 or 40 hockey games than I am one football game. And considering I can watch a football game at home on my 85-inch screen TV and have $2 beers versus $28 beers, it kind of makes a difference. I think that's the other piece of it. I mean, now look at the technology thing. If not for that, I'm screwed. I live in Florida. I'm a Bears fan. I would the only games I would get here are any games that were on Prime or primetime games are about it. Because otherwise I'm getting nothing but Saints games and I'm Saints, Buccaneers,
Jags, Miami.
Cowboys, and yeah, like Miami, like the Bears, I'm only getting if they happen to be playing a team in the region. So I mean, for me, with the internet being what it is and having an IPTV, I can now watch every Bears game. Um, I think though the difference you see with that though does two things. One, obviously I'm not flying to Chicago to go to games. I will still go to a road game, but two, it used to be when people moved from one city to another, they would adopt that NFL team or that NBA team of the city they moved to. That does not happen as much anymore because you can take your team with you. Because you got NHL center ice or MLB extra innings or NFL season ticket, you can be a fan of any team in the country now from anywhere in the country. That didn't used to be the case. I think that has changed why some people don't go to games because you're a Bears fan living in Dallas. The only Bears game you might ever go to is when the Bears come to Dallas once every 4 years.
Well, and I do think attendance is worsening in all sports. Watching a lot of college basketball, it's really bad. Nobody goes to college basketball game. The only times you really see attendance good at college basketball games is on campus. That's why I've been pushing for the tournament to be on campus games, because there you see large crowds in those games and a lot of things
You
like
look
that.
at a
It's
school
really
like
bad.
Louisville. Like Louisville is basically like run like an NBA franchise. Yeah, they have to. The NCAA says you have to have student tickets, which are like basically free or super cheap. Sure, they have one section like that right behind the goal, right behind the one goal. I don't know, on one side of the court is like the student section. The rest of that stadium at the Yum Center is sold like an NBA franchise with season tickets, and it's all people from the community. Now, look at why do the Louisville Cardinals sell? Because they're the only game in town. But ticket prices are getting so expensive now. I think young kids in places where they have to spend the money don't, because they don't have the money. Ticket prices for the NCAA, like we looked at going to NCAA football games. I'm not far from Bama. Like I could go to a Bama game, or I could go. I mean, dude, I'm in Pensacola. I'm not that far. A couple hours. I can go to any game. SEC, I can go to FSU, whatever.
Remember, I got a radio station right near you. I know exactly where you're at, where Tuscaloosa is.
We looked at tickets to go to an FSU game or a Bama game. I'm better off taking my son to an NFL game because tickets were the exact same price.
Yeah,
I go to Maryland games early in the season when they're playing they're going to play Hampton or Towson or whatever. You can get tickets for $10 because nobody's going to those games. But if they're playing Michigan and Penn State, you can forget it. I mean, those tickets are like $300.
It's the same in college as it is in pro. Like if you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, dude, they don't when they're playing. I hate to say Pittsburgh, where I'm going to. When they play Pittsburgh, you're going to get tickets pretty easily. Now, if the Penguins are in town against the Lightning, forget about it. But for the Pirates, yeah, whatever. The Dodgers come to town, they might do a draw. If Chicago comes to town, the Yankees, the Mets, they're going to sell tickets, right? It's like there are certain markets where the home team doesn't sell well unless it depends on who the visiting team is. And that's like your argument you're making for your college team. Like if they got a big-time college coming in, tickets are going to sell. But if it's a week where the Lightning are playing, if the Lightning are playing the Anaheim Ducks, dude, you could walk up day of and get cheap Lightning tickets.
NBA and NHL tickets basically, to me, have kind of stayed steady, like in terms of like fan interest in buying tickets and all that.
NBA's dropping.
NBA's dropping a little bit, but NHL's a different breed. Those
NHL
people love hockey. They
growing.
have the most loyal group to me.
They're the most hardcore for sure.
Yeah, they're the most hardcore. Even the NFL. This is why you're seeing other teams buy tickets now. The Steelers, especially, they travel well. So there's always more Steeler fans than anybody else.
Look, it's the Steelers, the Bears, the Packers. There are a couple teams in the NFL that have a hardcore base that will travel everywhere. Like a Bears game, if the Bears come to Miami, Bears fans will descend down from New York City to go to that game. If it's anywhere on the East Coast, Bears fans will travel.
But right? I think it's happening with more teams now because of
it is to a degree, but it's not happening for Arizona. It's not happening for Seattle as much, maybe. I mean, it's a good argument. Hockey, I think, though, hockey has the most hardcore. Their core fans are the most hardcore of any sport. I think I'd agree with that. And then maybe baseball and then football maybe are somewhere tied or very close.
Chiefs
hockey,
games
though, has been growing the game very smartly compared to the other leagues, and that's why they get so many hardcore fans. Which team are? The Cowboys? Dude, the Cowboys, I do not want to face them in the playoffs if they keep getting hot like this. They're getting look at adding Quentin Williams was a game changer. That's making that trade at the beginning of the year look good. If they get hot and get in, you might not want to play the Cowboys come playoffs. Because sometimes it's who gets hot at the right time. If the Cowboys get hot and go on a run and get in, you might not want to face them.
All right, I got to
more scared. They're not even the team I'm most concerned about in Texas with the playoffs.
Yeah, but if they get in, though, Rich, you have to admit if they get hot and get in, that means they'll be the hot team probably coming in. Kind of like if Cincinnati had gotten in last year, that you probably want to be wary of them if they're hot coming in.
Dallas has been.
Yeah, but the minute they get in there, Dax. Yeah, but the minute they get in there, Dak's going to wet the bed. Yeah. Brian Callahan is going to get scared and turn into his dad, and they're going to just completely implode, and they're going to lose to whoever comes to Chicago, whoever comes down here.
You know what that take gets?
Schottenheimer was there. Marty Schottenheimer was knock on the door, like in Cleveland and KC. You know, get you to the playoffs and then losing the playoffs, divisional round every year. All right,
I could literally imagine Brian Schottenheimer's sphincter going and just folding. I can't see any conceivable way that this Cowboys team, if they got in, that's a huge if, did anything.
Do you think they beat? Do you think they beat Detroit this week though, with no St. Brown and the issues that they're having, and that's going to make the lore of them being hot maybe grow a little bit? Because look, at Detroit's vulnerable this weekend for sure.
There's one. He's got to have an S under his jersey. There's one guy that can make a determination on that. Jameer
J-Mo?
Gibbs.
Oh,
Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah.
If Gibbs goes and has another one of those days where he has 200 total yards and scores 2 or 3 touchdowns, Dallas is in trouble. And is it doable? Yeah, because their defense is better, but it's not good yet.
Dallas gets ahead, they can win.
But with Arnold out, who's going to cover Lamb and Pickens, which is where my situation comes in with the whole Pickens deal. He's just he's getting the fruits of Lamb being hurt and or double covered.
Well, and Hutch last week was a ghost. Like, Hutch has to be present and be making plays, or Detroit's in trouble. I mean, I can see Detroit losing this game. I really can.
They got 3 guys on him. They got 3 guys on him every time. Even he isn't. I mean, every time the Lions play, they got to help him out. You got to have 3 guys.
Yeah.
He's not Myles Garrett where he can just have 3 guys.
Well, and the thing where last year the Cowboys were bad, it's the run. So they go get Kenny Clark, and now you add Q, who's also good on the run. So like that's good on good. Jameer on those 2, and then. But those 2 can get at the quarterback, and let's just be honest, Goff isn't the most mobile, escapable quarterback. And with not having St. Brown, and I'll tell you what, if J-Mo drops the ball early, if you watch Lions game, if J-Mo drops a pass or 2 early, he just stops looking at him regardless. Detroit,
he's on my fantasy team. I understand. Trust me, he's on my fantasy team. I get it.
It's a very losable game for Detroit. It's interesting.
All right,
I
got to dip out here, so it's 11 o'clock. So
I do too. I think we just shut her down. We went 2 hours tonight.
Yeah, good times, boys.
All right,
Rav, how do we get you, man?
Ravenry Sports Podcast on Rumble. I'll promote this week Rumble and Spotify as well. So definitely check us out. We may have a jersey giveaway for the Super Bowl this year, so just keep your eyes on that as well. This week we're going to be talking about the Steelers week. Last week, the Bengals game, talked about that. Orioles made a closer, got a closer, Ryan Housley. So we're going to be talking about that on the podcast this week as well. And next week, for you, especially Ken, we're going to talk about your favorite game and mine too, Army and Navy next week. So we're going to
go Army, beat Navy.
Talking about that. Absolutely. All right, you guys.
Go Navy. Ken, how do people get you?
So normally I'd say you could get me at Ken the Bear Fan X, but I got hacked like over a week ago. So right now you can get me at Talking Sports 18 on X, my backup account, which is where we're streaming right now via Rich. But you can get me at Ken the Bear Fan on Rumble. And then you can catch me on the Huddle Sports Network tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, of course, at 10 a.m. Every Monday through Friday, we do the morning show. And then tomorrow night, we got a house hall. We're going to start. Normally, we'd be recapping Friday's game, but considering we played Friday, so we had a show Sunday. We recapped it. It just so happens, though, it's War Week. So we're going to be talking Bears-Packers on Wednesday. And then again, Sunday morning for pregame, we'll be talking more Bears-Packers. However, for Sunday morning's pregame show, we will have Packer fans on. So that could be explosive. Hopefully, I'll get at Ken the Bear Fan back on X. But in the interim, go follow my alt there at Talking Sports 18 on X. That may become the main if I don't get the big one back. So we'll see. I'm in the process of building up the small one now. So we're broadcasting from there. But yeah, that's where you can get me. And of course, you can catch me here every Tuesday with Rich and the fellas. And yeah, so as usual, always a fun time.
Yeah, it always is, man. You can get me on Twitter, BigRich8371, or on Facebook, my name, Rich Richardson. Real nice and simple. Lots to get into. Hopefully, Adam and I will be doing Steel City Sports Talk tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here, where we get into Steelers Ravens, and I'm sure we'll have some Pitt sports to talk as well. Hopefully, a little bit of hot stove pirate stuff going on too to get into. So lots of things going on, and of course, we end up God only knows where. So we start out Pittsburgh, and it just kind of deviates. So you never know where we're going to end up. But no, we appreciate everybody for watching and listening this evening. Ken, as always, man, it's been a blast.
Every time.
Till next time, for my buddy Ken the Bear fan, I am Big Rich. So long, everybody.